Tuesday, April 29th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here along with you. A lot to discuss. First of all, let's look back at yesterday. You had 80s for highs across southern North Carolina before that backdoor cold front moved on in and a bit of a cold air damming setup took over. Look at Columbia, 90 degrees, the high temperature on Monday afternoon. Temperatures across the region during the 5 o'clock hour this morning, 73 in Columbia and Wilmington, but only 59 in Charlotte and only 52 in Greensboro and 53 in Raleigh. That wedge is set up, and it's going to be a real forecast challenge to figure out how quickly that wedge will erode. Notice within the wedge, north and northeast winds. Out of the wedge, you have those south and southwest winds. And so you're basically looking at that wedge front right along in there. And that will be lifting back northward with time as we go through the day. Big upper level low has not moved a great deal, and we continue to see spokes of energy pivoting around that, and it's going to be another very active weather day in many spots across the southeast. The cold front still way off to the west. But again, one of the big forecast challenges for us today is that warm front and how quickly that will lift to the north. Now, these are the radar images from during the 5 o'clock hour this morning. Had some electric thunderstorms moving through the northern foothills areas and on up into Virginia. Again, at the time I was cutting this video, the only active severe thunderstorm warnings were down into southeastern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle region. But again, more to come today. This will be another active weather day. Rain and embedded thunderstorms in eastern Tennessee and Kentucky, into the western part of North Carolina and Virginia, arcing down into parts of Georgia and Alabama, down into southeastern parts of Alabama there around the Wiregrass region, into Florida Panhandle region, even back toward around New Orleans. Now, there's the compilation of the storm reports from yesterday, a whole lot of them, and this is just the tornado reports here. A lot of them across Mississippi, Alabama, into Tennessee. Now, that's not the number of individual tornadoes. That's just the volume of reports that came in. But there were undoubtedly numerous tornadoes that moved through in that part of the region. Now, let's talk about what happens today. This warm front will slowly lift to the north. How quickly it lifts to the north is still a matter of debate. But as it lifts north, that more unstable air takes over across North Carolina, and you get the instability values climbing, and that was more supportive of severe thunderstorms. And that unstable air, at least relatively speaking, will then be in place tonight and tomorrow, so the active shower and thunderstorm chances will continue. This is just a snapshot from the Greensboro viewing area. I want to show you the RPM model. 3 o'clock this afternoon, it has Asheboro at 82 and Albemarle at 84, but Mount Airy and North Wilkesboro at 60. That's as that wedge is eroding away. Now, that's the outline of the day one severe weather outlook. Your moderate risk is in Alabama and Mississippi, including places like Birmingham, Starkville, and Meridian. Your standard slight risk covering much of the Carolinas, including pretty much almost all of the Carolinas minus immediate coastal areas. I think for North Carolina today, the tornado risk toward the lower end of the scale, but certainly not zero. It's there. But today, probably a higher threat of damaging winds and hail, and certainly a lot of lightning. But tomorrow, there's your day two outlook, again, covering much of the region, even including coastal areas tomorrow. And I think the tornado risk probably a little bit higher tomorrow. Of course, the damaging, let me go back to that real quick. The damaging wind potential sticking around, even up into the high category, probably tomorrow rather. And flooding threat increasing too as the rain totals pile up. Speaking of rain, this is a look at the rain totals across the region on the RPM model. And certainly still looks like a lot of rain. At least it'll be a very uneven distribution, but still the potential for a lot of rain is there. And so for that reason, you have a flash flood watch blanketing a good chunk of the region through tomorrow night. All right, so here's the overall upper level pattern for today off the European model. Another disturbance rounding the base of this big upper level low. So again, there's your categorical severe weather outlook for today. Let me get into the probabilities for you. There's the tornado probabilities. And at some point today, the Storm Prediction Center will put out one of those hatched areas when they get a better handle on where they think the potential for damaging, or I should say for stronger violent tornadoes will be. And I suspect it'll be somewhere down there toward Alabama and Mississippi. But notice some tornado probabilities extending up into the Carolinas as well. Wind probabilities, that's our highest severe weather threat again today in the Carolinas, most likely is damaging winds, but hail also up there too. That's the hail probability is very much like the damaging wind percentages, and then you get on out to tomorrow, and that's the day 2 outlook, and then there are the probabilistic numbers for tomorrow. And we'll have to watch the storms tomorrow as well very carefully. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe. Have a great way of hearing watches and warnings if and when they're required. And, of course, if you're in North Carolina in the Time Warner Cable News viewing area, we will keep you completely up to date on television. Have a great day. Stay safe, and God bless.